Okay, dear students, in the previous lecture, we observed the speed torque characteristics of a three-phase induction motor for frequency control. Okay, at today's lecture, we are going to see the speed torque characteristics of a induction motor for various voltage and frequency control. That is a stator voltage and frequency control. So, as we already know, the voltage equation for a induction motor, that is a for three-phase induction motor, we know the stator voltage for phase, that is a V1 V equals to 4.44 flux Fn kW, right? So this is a voltage equation. This is a voltage equation of a three-phase induction motor per phase, and as it is stator voltage, I will represent with the V1 and flux frequency is F1 and number of turns is N1 kW1. Okay, so it's a voltage equation. We already know that. So from this above equation, so if I make if the ratio of the voltage to the frequency, so or else here after completion of the machine designing, so we know these two things are constant. So remaining things are what? The flux is proportional to the ratio of the voltage to the frequency, right? So here if we keep constant, if we kept this ratio is constant, then we can say that the air gap flux is going to be constant. That is, if the ratio of the supply stator voltage to the stator frequency, if we kept constant this value, then the air gap flux is also will be constant. Okay, so that is, you can vary this voltage and also by you can vary this frequency in such a way that we have to make this V by F ratio constant, so that the air gap flux is going to be constant. And if you remember the equivalent circuit diagram of the induction motor, refer to the stator. Let me redraw the diagram. I'm redrawing the diagram. That is the equivalent circuit diagram of the induction motor, refer to the stator. So to know the torque equation, I'm drawing this diagram. So if you remember this diagram, there's no need of redrawing the diagram, but let me recall this diagram here. So this is the stator resistance R1, stator reactant X1, and coming to the rotor side, I refer to the stator X2 and R2 by S. And this is a magnetization reactance XM, right? So we have seen this equivalent diagram at the starting of the third chapter. Okay, and for this diagram, we have derived the torque equation. We have derived the torque equation for this corresponding diagram. Let me write down the torque equation. That is a torque is given by 3 by omega s. That is synchronous speed omega s, and V1 square stator voltage V1 square over R1 plus R2 by S whole square plus X1 plus X2 whole square into R2 by S. Let me make it capitals or short. R1 and R2 into R2 by S. Okay, so this is the electromagnetic torque equation of induction motor correspond to the above equivalent circuit diagram. Okay, So this diagram, this equation is a general equation. So if I want to make, if I want to draw the starting torque equation, there is a starting torque, the starting torque equation. So how we can find the starting torque equation? Just substitute the value s equals to 1 in above equation. Why? Because at starting we know that the speed is 0, nr value 0, so nr value 0, s equals to ns minus nr by ns. That is ns by ns, we are going to get s equals to 1 only, right? So if you substitute the s equals 1 in the above equation, we are going to get the starting torque equation. Let me write down the starting torque equation. So this will be T starting torque is equals to the 3 over omega s v1 square over r1 plus r2 whole square. I'll kept s equals 1. As we know, at starting s value is 1, x1 plus x2 whole square into r2 okay. Now here for induction motor, if you take at high frequencies, we can neglect the this value, that is a value of the resistance r1 plus r2, I'll be comparing with the reactance values x1 plus x2. That is as, let me write down that point here, as this value r1 plus r2 is much lesser than the x1 plus x2. I'm going for the approximation equation, and also we know the synchronous speed, this value omega s value, that is a 2 omega 1 by p. So here what is the w1 here? This is the stator frequency. Okay, don't feel it like a speed. That is not a speed variable. Now if we do the approximation, then we can write down the starting torque equation equals to 3p by 2 omega 1 into v1 square over and r2 by, so we are going to have the x1 plus x2 whole square. So in place of x1 plus x2 whole square, if I write in terms of the radians per second, that is we know as x equals to what? X equals to omega L. So if I write in this form, we know that we can write x1 equals to omega 1 L1 and x2 is also equals to omega 1 L2. So why I have taken omega 1 again? Why? Because we're talking about the refer to the stator. So we've taken x2 equals to omega 1 L2. So if I substitute this x1 and x2, and if I neglect the r1 plus r2 value, then we're going to get in the denominator. So here x1 plus x2 whole square means what? Omega 1 L1 plus omega 1 L2 whole square. So if we get common the omega 1 from two terms, we are going to get here omega 1 square L1 plus L2 whole square. Okay. So let me redraw this equation. Starting torque is equal to the 1 by omega 1 and v1 by omega 1 whole square and 3 times of PR2 by omega 1 square L1 plus L2 L square. Sorry, omega 1 square is not there. So let me make it equation number 1. Just kept aside this equation. So here this term is completely, we can take it like a fixed constant value. This is the 3p r2 by L1 plus L2 whole square after completion of the machine designing. So we are having here omega 1 stator frequency, V1 stator voltage, and again omega 1 stator frequency. Simply we can say V1 by omega 1 is nothing but air gap flux, right? So if we make it constant, if we make the air gap flux is constant, that is if you make the air gap flux is going to be constant, then this ratio is also constant. Then what about starting torque? Simply starting torque is going to be inversely proportional to the stator frequency. Is that T starting torque will be inversely proportional to the stator frequency when you're making air gap flux is constant. Why? Because air gap flux is nothing but what? Ratio of the voltage to the frequency, V1 by W1, or you can say it is a V1 by F1. We have seen here it's a V1 by F1, or else you can write flux is V1 by W1. Okay, you can write anything. So here W is the radians per second and F is the edges. You can take any variable. So let make equation 1, that's about starting torque. Let me write down the maximum torque equation. Maximum torque equation. We already seen this maximum torque equation. T max equals to, I'm writing directly. We already seen in the previous lecture, I think, 3 by omega s V1 square by 2 times of x1 plus x2. Now substitute the values of omega s equals to 2w1 by p and x1 equals to omega 1 L1, x2 equals to omega 1 L2. So if I substitute these values, then you're going to get T max is equals to 3 by 2 omega 1 by p. It's omega's value into stator voltage V1 square over 2 times of omega 1 L1 plus omega 1 L2. So from this equation, I can write down a generalized equation omega at maximum torque equals to V1 by W1 omega 1 whole square into 3p, p is number of poles, over 4 times of L1 plus L2, L1 plus L2. Okay, now we can observe this second term as a 3p by 4 times of L1 plus L2 is going to be constant, and the remaining value V1 by W1, that's the stator voltage and stator frequency. We're talking about what? Stator voltage and stator frequency control. That is, we are going to vary this V1 and W1. So if you are varying V1 and W1 in such a way that you make the ratio is constant, that is, you make the air gap flux is constant, then we can say that the maximum torque is going to be constant, right? So from this equation we can say that. So just observe these two equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2. From the equation number 1 and equation number 2, I can draw the speed torque characteristics of a induction motor, 3-phase induction motor. Let me copy this equation. I'll make it here. This is the equation number 1. Okay, and this is the equation number 2, starting torque equation and maximum torque equation. Let's compare these two equations, and by using this equation we're going to draw the speed torque characteristics of a 3-phase induction motor. Let me draw that. So here I will take speed on the y-axis. So you can take speed on the x-axis and torque on the y-axis. Nothing to worry. So in some textbook, they will draw the speed. They will take speed on the x-axis. In some textbook, they will take speed on the y-axis. So according to the parameter which you have taken on which axis, we have to draw that. So here, let me take torque on the x-axis, and here speed. Here speed. Okay. So please observe, I am drawing this characteristics here now. This is a maximum torque line. So because as you are going to keep on constant V1 by W1, the maximum torque value is going to be constant. Let me take it is the at frequency 1 W1 at speed omega s1, that is the for corresponding frequency W1. Omega s1 is what? For corresponding frequency starter frequency W1. So this is what we can observe like this. Let me take. So this is the normal speed torque characteristics for at a frequency omega s. Okay. So after that we'll observe. I will keep on reduce the speed as I will keep on reduce the frequency W1. So omega s1. Let me draw the for omega s2. Let me draw the this relationship for the omega s2, which is less than the omega s1. So omega s1 is the for corresponding frequency W1. It is for corresponding frequency W1, and this is for corresponding frequency W2. That is, I will take W1 is more than the W2. That is, I will reduce this. I will reduce the what? I am going to reduce this value omega 2 value. Now tell me, what about starting torque? Starting torque is going to be increases or decreases for omega 2 value. For omega 2 value, starting torque is going to be increases or decreases. Hello? For frequency, omega 2 frequency. So it is not total frequency. I will taking one more frequency which is less than the omega 1 for this speed. And what about starting torque? Is it going to be increase or decreases? Increases. Only one person is answering. What about remaining people? So my dear students, try to provide your answer. You can provide your wrong answers also. As our class is at afternoon session, you have to be active. Try to post your answer so that you cannot feel sleepy. Out of 40%, only 2% are giving answers. Decreases. You can observe here. So if I reduce the frequency, I will make constant. That's a ratio of the V by frequency. Voltage frequency I will make constant, but I will in such a way that I'm going to reduce the frequency. Okay. So now, whatever maximum torque, the maximum torque is going to be constant only, as ratio is constant. But coming to the starting torque, here we are having the in denominator there is a frequency W1. That is, the starting torque is going to be inversely proportional to the frequency, stator frequency. So here it is a proportional what? Inverse proportional. So if you are going to decrease the this frequency, starting torque is going to be increases. So starting torque is going to be increases. Okay. So let me draw this one for omega s2. So it is for omega s2. Okay. Now if I want to draw for one more frequency which is less than the omega 2, that is omega 3, and that is corresponding speed is omega is 3. Now again the starting torque is going to be decreases. Okay, so in this way we can observe the speed torque characteristics of induction motor for variable voltage and variable frequency. And this is a, let me take this one load torque for certain load. You can take randomly, we don't know the load, so let me take this is the load torque for a certain load. Okay, so here the observation is what, if V1 by W1, that is the air gap flux is kept constant, the maximum torque is remains constant, but the starting torque is inversely proportional to the supply frequency, right? So even if air gap flux is kept constant, but if you are observed, if you keep on decreases frequency at low frequencies, so we have taken the starting torque equation what, for R1 plus R2 less than the L1 plus L2. That is there we consider that the stator resistance, the effect of resistance neglected when comparing to the reactance. So when we for that consideration we got this torque equation, right? So but at low frequencies the effect of resistance cannot be neglected comparing to the reactances. Why? Because at low frequency what, the reactance is also low. Why? Because it is X is proportional to frequency only. So it is also we cannot neglect at low frequencies. Okay, so for that case we are going to increase the starter voltage to maintain the maximum torque constant. Okay, and this is this method of speed control is called as a volts per Hertz control. So this method of speed control is called as a volts per Hertz control. That is the voltage over frequency control. Okay, so similarly you can find out the maximum slip at maximum torque. Slip at maximum torque we already seen when we neglect the stator resistance. Slip at maximum torque, slip at maximum torque Sm is given by R2 over W1 plus L1 plus L2. Okay, here also we have neglected the starter resistance. Here also we neglected starter resistance also. Okay, here if we reduce the supply frequency, the slip at maximum torque is going to be increases. And here if you observe this speed torque characteristics, so from this figure we can say that the both voltage and frequency are varied. Speed of the drive can be controlled. That is by varying the both voltage and frequency, the speed of the drive can be controlled. And the control of both voltage and frequency, that is the controlling of both voltage and frequency, that can be carried out by using the three-phase inverters or by using the cycloconverters. Let me write down that point here. Controlling of that is a controlling of both voltage and frequency, starter voltage and starter frequency, this can be carried out by using three-phase inverters and cycloconverters. That is, we are going to use the three-phase inverters and cycloconverters to get the variable voltage, variable starter voltage and variable starter frequency for the induction motor. That means we are going to connect this inverters and cycloconverters in between the power supply and the induction motors, so that we can get the variable voltage and variable frequency characteristics. Okay, now here The thing is, where we are going to use the three-phase inverters and where we are going to use the cycloconverters. So basically, these inverters are going to be used in low and medium power drives. These three-phase inverters are going to use the in low and medium power drives. Coming to cycloconverters, so these are going to be used for the high power drives, like cement mills, locomotives, like that. For in high power drives, we are going to use the cycloconverters for variable voltage, variable frequency controlling of the induction motor. Okay, and this variable voltage and variable frequency can be obtained by from the voltage source inverter. Voltage source inverter. Okay, so we're going to see the controlling of induction motor. There is a speed torque characteristics of induction motor uh, by using the voltage source inverter. Voltage source inverter. I will give you the some diagrams regarding controlling of induction motor by using voltage source inverters. And we are going to see this operation in the next lecture. But today I will give you the circuit diagrams. What are the different types of circuit diagrams we can have? Controlling of three-phase induction motor, speed control, three-phase induction motor, speed control through voltage source inverters. Voltage source inverters. Okay, so let me give the circuit diagrams here. So first possibility is the three-phase power supply. We will have the three-phase power supply. So for inverter, obviously we need what? DC. Is a three-phase AC power supply. For inverter, we need what? DC. So for that, we need a converter which has to convert the AC to DC. Which has to convert AC to DC. So this is a rectifier. Is a rectifier that make it AC to DC converter. AC to DC converter, and after that we'll get a DC output here. We'll get DC output here, and this DC output is given to the inverter, but it is not going to given directly. So in between the inverter and this rectifier, we're going to use the filter. We're going to use the filter to get the pure DC LC filter. So this is a filter diagram LC, and now this will be given to the inverter. This will be given to the inverter. And now this is going to feed the three-phase induction motor. So this is a three-phase induction motor. Three-phase induction motor. Okay, and here we are going to use in place of rectifiers. We'll use the three-phase bridge rectifiers here. Three-phase bridge rectifiers, and also there is a diode rectifier. We can use diode rectifiers. That is uncontrolled rectifiers. Uncontrolled rectifiers, or else we can use the control rectifiers. That is by using thyristors. Control rectifiers. You can also use that one dual converter. 4-quadrant operation we can get. A dual converter. Okay. So here one thing you have to remember is, while you are using the diode rectifier for the conversion of AC to DC, we are going to use a pulse width modulation. Here we are going to use pulse width modulation inverter. There is a voltage and frequency are both varied by using the PWM inverter, as it is an uncontrolled rectifier. So these are the different circuit diagram for the controlling of the induction motor by using the voltage source inverters. And we are going to see this operation, how the induction motor is going to be controlled by means of the voltage source inverter in the next lecture. Okay, so with this I would like to conclude the today's session. We'll see on tomorrow. Thank you everybody. You may leave now.